Do not ever let this happen to you. I want to thank Noble Gold for sponsoring today's video. Most Americans don't own sound money. Sound money is defined by the Constitution as gold and silver. It's been accepted as sound money for over 5,000 years. And even though it's been artificially suppressed by the international banking cartel, it was the best performing investment class for 2022. In that year, the S&P was down 20%, the Dow was down 10%, and Bitcoin was down over 65%. Gold and silver outperformed them all. Open a gold or silver IRA with Noble Gold Investments this month and get this quarter-ounce American Gold Eagle for free with every qualified IRA of $50K or more. With thousands of 5-star reviews, there's a lot of happy people who are glad they went with Noble Gold. Check them out with my link in the description and in the pinned comment. Now, back to today's video. Now, I debated whether or not to do this video because this story is pretty old. It's from 2014. But I thought, you know what? I didn't see it until yesterday, so maybe there's a whole lot of other people who haven't seen it. And even if you have seen this, it's always good to remind ourselves of situational awareness possibilities. Like, there's a lot of situations we find ourselves in where maybe we aren't as aware as we should be. Maybe we're too trusting of the people that are around us. And you're trusting because you're a good person. Most people trust other people because they think that those other people are like you, that you're good-hearted. You're not going to lift up your hand to hurt somebody, to steal somebody's stuff. You're not going to threaten somebody. You're not going to do anybody evil. And there's a lot of people out there that think, well, if I'm like that, I'm sure, pretty much everybody else is like that. And it's just not true. There are people out there, obviously, who will do things that you wouldn't ever dream about doing. I mean, we've seen the sick stuff just floating around on the internet. So I want to do this as kind of a public service announcement and a public service message. This is a woman who's working at a Boost Mobile. A guy comes in, we'll go over his name and we'll go over, he's got a rap sheet that's pretty long. So let's just watch some of this.
Warm out there, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
How can I help you?
Okay.
Looks like it's in a storm. How can I help you?
All right, now I'm going to stop this right here. He already geared up. He's got his left hand back, and of course his fist is going to strike her face. I'm not going to show that because you know what happens on this channel when I do that kind of stuff. I don't want number one, I don't want an age restriction. Number two, I don't want them to take this video down because I think everybody needs to see it. If you want to see what happened to this woman, you want to watch this video in its entirety, I'll leave the link to my Twitter feed. That'll be in the description under the video. By the way, this woman right here, and I didn't know it when I first saw this video until I read some articles and read some information on it. This woman right here is 6 months pregnant. So this guy walks into this store. She drops her guard. She's leaning over the counter. She didn't create some distance between her. And I'm not faulting her for that. Other people, if we were in this kind of situation, we might have let our guard down too. But in this day and age, I know we keep in this day and age, things are different. Things are a little bit different than when I grew up. They kind of are. They kind of are. People are doing some really crazy stuff. People are acting out of desperation. People are just criminally minded. They're evil-hearted, and they'll do things that you wouldn't dream of doing. So this woman, instead of creating distance, is leaning against the counter, which gives him, and what's that going to be, 3 or 4 feet of space between him and her instead of, stepping back. And this is another reason that you never, ever, ever want to create laws that bar people from having access to a personal protection device. If this lady was armed, things might have gone a little bit different. If she created a little bit more space, made him have to work for what he potentially could do to her. Not that he will, but he could do. Obviously, he would do it, but maybe other people wouldn't. So I'm going to advance this So he punches her in the nose, and then he goes behind the counter while she's, you know, basically pleading with him so that he can empty the cash drawer.
Don't you move. Okay. I'm pregnant, please. Please don't do anything. Will you do? Don't you move.
So let's talk about this creating distance. If she had created some distance right here as he was rearing up, so that's where he advances toward her and lifts his left arm and takes a jab at her. But if she created some distance and she had a personal protection device on her, things could have gone way, way different. So if he tries to advance on her, boom, he's gone. Now, the state, the people in the state aren't burdened with giving this guy 3 hots and a cot for the consecutive terms that he's about to get for this very incident. By the way, he had just come from another convenience store doing the exact same thing to another clerk. So let's read about this. And then I want to show you another example of a woman who is put in a precarious position. This is, again, getting back to there should never be a gun law, because gun laws affect the poorest among us. A gun law, you know, making a law where you're going to have to register that, you're going to have to license that, you're going to have to go to a school for that, you're going to have to get a background check for that. People don't have time for that kind of stuff. They need a personal protection device, and they need it right now so that they can defend themselves. They're in a bad situation. They're in a bad neighborhood. They're scared for their lives every single night, not just for their lives, but for the lives of their family. So anytime you make a law, you create a roadblock, because it's your unalienable right to keep and bear arms. And there's no qualification there. Any arm, anything that you think you need to protect yourself, that's what you should have. And it's nobody else's business what you got. And it's definitely not their job and not their obligation to create a roadblock to keep you from your personal protection device. Boost Mobile robber, and that's what this was. It was a Boost Mobile store, is sentenced to 30 years. A Pensacola man has been sentenced to 30 years in prison for attacking 2 female store clerks on 2 separate robberies, according to the news release. Vincent LaVon Johnson, age 41. That's this guy. That's this guy right here. That's Vincent LaVon Johnson, age 41, went into Happy Nick's convenience store on Halifax Street on May 28th, punched the clerk in the face, and emptied the cash drawer. And then on June 18th, Johnson entered the Boost Mobile on Bayou Boulevard, punched the clerk in the face, a woman who was 6 months pregnant. That's this lady right here. 6 months pregnant, and took the money from the register. Both of these assaults were caught on surveillance video, and Johnson was identified from the videos. Johnson pled guilty to the crimes in October. Johnson has been in and out of prison since 1990 and has 43 prior felony convictions, and that guy's out on the street. This guy literally got less time for doing the heinous crimes that he did than Ross Ulbricht did by creating a website so that you could have an interaction with somebody that you wanted to, you know, buy a good or service from, away from the prying eyes of the government. Ross Ulbricht sets up the Silk Road, and instead of using fiat currency, you could use Bitcoin, but the government didn't like that. So they gave him 2 consecutive life terms plus 40 years. And Johnson right here only gets 2 15-year terms. Ross Ulbricht committed 0 crimes. This guy committed clear, egregious crimes on camera. He gets 30 years. Ross Ulbricht, 2 consecutive life terms plus 40 years. That's the injustice system for you. Circuit Judge Michael Allen sentenced Johnson to 2 consecutive 15-year sentences for robbery without a firearm and aggravated battery on a pregnant person. I want to show you this right here. I don't think that I'm going to play the audio on it. Maybe when she starts talking, I'll play the audio so that you can get her side of the story. But this is a woman who is working out in a gym at night. And I guess it's one of those gyms that you need a card reader. And some guy's knocking at the door, and she lets the guy in. Well, and he ends up being her attacker. Watch this. 24-year-old woman fought off an attacker while working out at her apartment complex's gym. It's a nice apartment complex gym, by the way. I don't know if there's copyright on this music right here. So she fends him off, and then he chases her.
The door, I buzzed. Whenever he was at the door, I buzzed him in, and he came inside. My thought process was that it was just another dude coming in to work out, so I didn't think of anything out of that. He didn't actually talk to me at all. After I buzzed him in, he went to the other side of the gym because I was on the opposite side. And I didn't mind any pay attention to him at all. Like, I was just working out, and next thing you know, I get up from doing my workout and I grab my phone and he just approaches me.
Okay, see that gym bag right there? What should that gym bag have in it? Oh, maybe an assortment of things. You fill in the blanks. You tell me in the comment section what that gym bag right there should probably have in it. And she should probably be at the ready and heightened awareness if she's deciding to open the door. Not a good idea to open the door if you need a key card or whatever, and especially if it's a guy or whoever that you've not seen. It's always a good idea to have it, you know, the it that I'm talking about that should be in this gym bag, and not need it than to need it and not have it.
When it was happening, I actually had no fear. I am a bodybuilder and I'm actually pretty strong. So in my mind, he was kind of equal to me. I didn't see him as bigger.
Now he, you know, even though he looks smaller than her, no doubt, well, maybe, it's a good chance that he's stronger than her. Maybe he has better moves than her or whatever. He didn't seem too aggressive to me, not overly aggressive. He could have literally, I don't even think he threw any punches when I looked at this. But when you're, I don't care if you're a guy or girl, when you're in a situation like this where it literally could be life or death, you got eyeballs and balls below the waist that can almost always incapacitate somebody. Get them in the balls below the waist, or the balls above the neck. The eyeballs, you know, scratching eyeballs. She had him in a headlock, but you know, he could have easily taken her. There's so many things that she could have done right here.
I didn't see him as smaller, I didn't see him as anything. So in my mind,
she's putting up a valiant fight though too.
I knew I was stronger than him, and I knew I could fight back.
She assumed she was stronger than him. Again, I don't think he threw any punches. It didn't look like he threw any punches at all. He didn't look like he was being overly aggressive. If he wanted to take her out, he probably could have. She was lucky to get away. That's why if you have a gym bag, you should always have something in that gym bag that's going to tip the scales in your favor, the scales of power. There's always somebody who wants to overpower you. He was arrested the next day. This Xavier Thomas Jones was arrested the next day and is facing multiple charges. Encourage other women who have been assaulted to contact the police as quickly. The police aren't going to help you. You know, seconds are ticking away right here and police are minutes away. Even if they could show up in 3 minutes, that could be 2 minutes and 45 seconds too late. You only have seconds to make a decision. And really, she was kind of making a mistake by having a cell phone. How are you going to be able to call 911 when you got an attacker on you right now? You've got a situation that needs to be dealt with. All right, so that's it on this. I wanted to give this to you as kind of a PSA, just situational awareness. We can all be a little bit more aware of our surroundings, who's in our zone of influence, how could they affect you, what kind of position, what kind of defensive posture and position or techniques or tools could you have that will tip the scales of power in your favor. Leave your thoughts about this. I really want to hear what you guys have to say. If you want to see this entire video right here and exactly, you know, it's truly infuriating to watch this guy punch this woman in the face. It's infuriating to watch somebody who knows they have power over other people wield that power in an evil way. You know, whether it's a man toward a woman or adults toward kids or whatever, it's truly infuriating. And when justice isn't executed speedily, therefore the hearts of the sons of men are fully set in them to do evil. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought, please, in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell notification icon. If you have experiences that you've gone through, especially as a woman, where you were able to overcome, or maybe you didn't overcome and you want to share those experiences in the comment section, I'd really like to hear what you got to say. And what kind of advice would you give for anybody else who finds themselves in the same kind of situation you were in? If you want to support the channel, grab a hard-hitting conversation starting a design you can get from the store. You can put on any shirt, hoodie, mug, cell phone case, whatever you want. The brand new design now is, this is a brand new original design for you. I'm an American. I have the right to bear arms. Your approval is not required. I will see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.